The Stars of the Sky. This is the book, basically the translation of Maghzi Mutafakkir Re Jihane Shia. In this book, the part which I took is where Jabir ibn Hayyan is asking Imam Jaffere Sadiq Islam about the stars. Jabir ibn Hayyan was father of chemistry and was the student of Imam Jaffere Sadiq Islam. The first question Jabir ibn Hayyan asked was, what are the shining stars at a fixed distance from us and at perpetual motion?
Imam Jaffere Sadiq al-Islam answered, each star is a small universe within the great universe. It is a collection of heavenly bodies, that is, sun and satellite. They are in perpetual motion so that they may not fall down and break up. If their movement stops, the universe will come to an end. It is perpetual motion which creates life. In other words, perpetual motion itself is life. If the motion stops, life would cease to exist. It is by the will of Allah that eternal motion never stops and life cycle continues. Allah is free from all desires. He does not need the eternal motion of the universe, which helps in the continuation of life. It is His gift to His creation. This eternal motion and life will continue till the day of judgment.
Then Jabir ibn Hayyan asked, what is the shape and form of stars in space? Imam Jaffar Sadiq al-Islam replied, some stars are solid, some liquid and some gases. Then Jabir ibn Hayyan asked in wonderment, how can we believe that stars are in gaseous state? Is it possible for gases to shine as the stars do at night?
The Imam answered, not all the stars, but only those which are very hot, are in the form of gases. Excessive heat turns them into gas and makes them shine, just as very high temperatures of our own sun makes it shine. I also think that it is in a gaseous state. Jabir continued with the question, how does the movement of stars keep them from falling?
Imam Jaffar Sadiq al-Islam replied, put a stone in a sling and round your head. The stone will stay in the sling so long as you are rotating it. But as soon as you stop the rotation, the stone will fall down on the ground. In the same way, the perpetual motion of stars keep them from falling down. Then Jabir ibn Hayyan asked, are there human beings in the stars? You have just said now that each star is a collection of heavenly bodies.
The Imam answered, I cannot say that there are human beings in other worlds, but I can say that there are living beings whom we cannot see because of the great distances between us. Jabir continued with the question, what is the proof that there are living beings in other worlds?
Imam Jaffar Sadiq al-Islam replied, it is my belief that Allah who has created the universe knows everything. In His book, the Holy Quran, Allah has mentioned the names of the jinns. They are living beings who cannot be seen. Perhaps the jinns who are in other world may be like us or even better than us. Then Jabir ibn Hayyan asked, what do you mean by better than us?
The Imam answered, perhaps there are the people who lived before in worlds like us, because they were good and virtuous. They were sent to live in the world of stars after their death, just as we would be sent to a better place if we were good and virtuous. Then Jabir asked, it follows from what you have said that if we do good deeds in this world, we would be sent to one of the stars after death?
Imam Jafar Sadiq replied, I cannot say where we will be sent when we get up from the dream of our death. We may have to live in the same world where we live today. Allah is great. He may create heaven and hell on the surface of this earth for His good and bad servants.
Jabir asked the question, does Allah know in advance where we shall have to live after we wake up from our long sleep of death, or He would make the decision after we have been brought back to life?
Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam replied, Allah is eternal and divine. He was not born and He would not die. He is omnipotent and all-knowing. The past and future are not for Him. He knows what has happened in the past and what will happen in the future. There is nothing which was not foreseen by Him and for which He has not issued His orders. He is not Allah the Great if something happens without His knowledge and permission. He knows in advance when a man will die and where is his place when he comes back to life.
And Jabir asked, you have just now said that Allah has, from the very beginning, foreseen and ordained everything which will happen till the day of judgment. It means that He has nothing to do to decide and is sitting idle now?
Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam replied, Since human beings cannot conceive and comprehend what it means to be eternal, omnipotent, and omniscient, they raise such petty objections. Do you know what it means to be eternal, and when eternity began and when it would end? This problem is beyond the power of understanding of the human mind and cannot be solved by any formulas in mathematics. But to Allah, this limitless period is just like 1 second, since He is above and beyond the domain of time. We shall also come out of it and shall not feel the passage of time any more after our death. When we are brought back to our life after thousands of years, we shall think and feel we had slept only for a while. The so-called eternity is nothing more than 1 second for him, and in this period of 1 second also he is busy. He who always was and will always be does not work as we work. We cannot use the word work for him in the same sense in which we use it for ourselves. We work because of our material and spiritual needs. We must work hard to earn our living or to acquire knowledge, which is our moral responsibility. Anyone who needs not work get tired and bored, and his life becomes dull and dreary. Those who have nothing to do go out for fishing, and so they maybe engage themselves in some activity and get out of boredom. Allah, who is great, eternal, omnipotent, and omnipresent, has no needs at all. If He needs anything or if He depends upon something, He would not be our Allah. If we discuss the activities of Allah, we shall confine Him within the limits of our knowledge and intelligence. Since we cannot understand the nature of work of Allah, we think that He works as we work, or that His work is like our work. We also think that He shall get bored with idleness when He has no work to do. Then
Then
Jabir,
Jabir asked,
then Jabir ibn Hayyan asked, shall we know Allah better than we are brought back to life after our death?
Then the Imam answered, there is no doubt when we shall rise again after our death, we shall be higher at a higher level of understanding. The great and merciful Allah would not subject us to die and then bring us to life and make us worse than what we are. Death is one of the stages of perfection and a step to reach a higher level of life.
Then Jabir ibn Hayyan asked, shall we see Allah after our death? I know that Prophet Moses had a negative reply when he asked to see him. We will also be disappointed in spite of the fact that we are Muslims and are better than people.
The Imam answered, we can only see those things which are made of matter and reflect the rays of light. How can we see Allah who is not made of matter and has no body? However, you can discover His presence and see Him in this very world with the eyes of your heart.
Jabir ibn Hayyan asked, I want to know why Allah does not appear before His creations.
Imam Jaffere Sadiq Alaihis answered, it is His divine will. We cannot express our opinion on the subject. However, it is for our own good that we cannot see it. Then Jabir asked, please tell me how it is good that we cannot see Him.
Imam Jaffere Sadiq al-Islam replied, if we could have seen Allah with our eyes, He would have appeared to us a finite and limited being just like any other object we see with our eyes. He would not have remained the great, eternal, and infinite Allah, what He is. In that case, we would have become disappointed of attaining an eternal and everlasting life. We would have thought, how can Allah, who is Himself limited, give us eternal life? The greatness of Allah is beyond our limited intelligence and knowledge.